Well, hello, friends, and welcome to my hobby home. My name is Cathy. Thank you so much for joining me today. We are jumping in and doing a whip here, and it's kind of late today. It's actually after 10 p.m. I've looked at the weather. It is 70 something degrees right now. But we are getting a whip done. Let me show you what I'm working on. I am completing my Creative Notions Make It Mini. This was in our December 2024 box. What I am doing is quilting and piecing on. Let me show you what I have here that I'm doing. I have my little hearts here that I will be putting on after I quilt it. Now, I know a lot of people are probably thinking that's the wrong way to do it. But how I'm quilting, I am going to do stitch in the ditch. I'm not going to have any elaborate design on it, which I probably could do a meander on it and it'd be okay. But I have my hanging tabs here. Now I'm going to tell y'all, in the instructions, I never saw any cutting instructions for the hanging sleeves. I just had this fabric and thought, well, I'm going to do it. And also, this dark fabric that was the bottom of the envelope, I am going to use that also as my binding. I didn't have enough to make it as wide as it called for, so I'm going to be doing a narrower binding. So let's just get started on this. I don't even know where I'm going to start. I just know I kind of need to tack down this all around the thing. So I'm looking to decide where should I start. And I think I'm going to start on the top sashing here and just go straight in that ditch. Get my needle down here. So guys, how are you doing? Well, you know what I think I'm going to do? I think I am going to do about 1/8 of an inch above that line to give it a little definition, and I'll do 1/8 of an inch on the outside of both of the side sashings instead of doing that stitch in the ditch. And what I am using, the batting that I'm using, is some remnant batting that I had from the quilt that you saw me finish on Friday. And what I'm trying to do is get some of my whips or incomplete projects completed, because I am trying to get my sewing area a little better organized. And the only way to do that is to get these incompleted projects completed. Okay, so that's the top. Now, I will probably do a stitch in the ditch across the top around the flange border, and also, all the way around it, just to kind of add extra security there on it. But I am going around here, and the quilting just really attaches the top and the bottom piece with the batting sandwiched. That's really all that stitch does, is just attach it and keeps it from moving around. So if you think about it that way, you realize you don't have to have all the fanciness, but I like the fanciness on my quilts. I like it. I like the quilts to have the pretty stitching on it. Sometimes kind of themed with whatever the quilt is. Like my Santa gnome that had snowflakes on it. So that's really pretty. Guys, y'all are probably already watching pre-game stuff today. I believe I cut the Notify Me on for Tammy for her live that she's doing. And I think it's called Charmed to Meet You. Oh, I should have went from top to bottom on this, but I didn't. So I got a little bubble right there. I've got to make sure it stretches good, because I don't want any bubbling in my... That is one tip that I forgot. Always go from where it's already stitched away from it, because that way there won't be any bubbling, because it'll always press it out to the other direction. Okay, so let's see where we're working at now. Let me go on and do a little stitch right here on the bottom as well, just to kind of frame in that envelope. Now I'm going to do a little cute decorative stitch on my hearts. I know they said Vicki put buttons on hers, I believe. But I'm just going to do a cute little heart stitch on mine. Okay, so now we have around the envelope done. For some reason my bobbin's not cutting, so I'll just have to cut it myself. Let me trim these threads out, because I don't need that big long thread. And yeah, I'm gonna have to quit doing this. I'm used to having a little garbage can right here, but I don't have it right now, and it's causing me to throw my stuff on the floor instead of in a garbage can. So I need to quit doing that. Oops, I just dropped something. You're probably wondering why I am so late getting... I think I'm going to do this the same way. I'm going to do it 1/8 of an inch on the outside of that flange binding. Why I'm so late getting on to sewing. Well, guys, it is Saturday. So this morning my sister and I, of course, went and had our breakfast. We haven't done that in a couple weeks, I think. But we went and had our breakfast and then did a little shopping. Went and got my grandbabies some blueberries. And my grandson has to drink lactose-free milk. So I went and got my daughter some lactose-free milk, because currently there is 6 in her house. So the milk don't stay very long. And if you know anything about lactose-free milk, it's not cheap. So I went and got some milk for her. My sister and I went to Sam's. So, and you can pick it up at Sam's for like a half-a-gallon carton under $5. It's just a little over $4 for a half-a-gallon carton of the lactose-free. Well, it's actually lactate is what it is. So, but I got them some little blueberry, because them babies can eat some blueberries. So I got both of my grandbabies some blueberries. Because they love them so much. And hey, I would rather buy them blueberries than foods they don't need to eat. I'll buy them good foods any day of the week. Now, of course, you know Valentine's Day is coming up. And of course, this Grammy gonna get both her little grandbabies something for Valentine's Day. May get them a little chocolate heart or something. Now, my husband and I, y'all saw this on the video yesterday. I had treated my husband to seafood for Valentine's Day because he's not going to be here. And he treated me for Valentine and my birthday to a crumble cookie. Well, we had gotten a box of 6. And we carried one to my daughter's house. And it's the brownie dough or chocolate brownie, fudge brownie dough or something like that. And so we carried that one in for my green babies. I didn't realize that my granddaughter wasn't there. And but my grandson, he took a bite and he just nodded. He was like, "Oh, that was so good." And he loved it. But yeah, so that little baby don't turn anything down. Okay, so now that I have this quilted, I'm going to go ahead and trim it and bind it, and then put my hearts on, because that'll be my last step that I do, because I have to change my foot out to do that. I didn't finish telling you guys why I'm so late. Well, today, I'm a little lost right now, y'all. My mind is discombobulated. So, okay, what I'm going to do is give myself a stitch line all the way around just to, yeah, those don't match. But you know what? It's going to be okay. Gonna give myself a stitch line all the way around. But anyway, trying to get my office a little organized, trying to get some things for the D-stash. I'm finding things left and right in here. And, you know, I'm also, while I'm working here, I'm finding things, of course, that I need to finish. So that's on my radar, you know, things that I need to finish. And also, in the process of this, trying to do taxes, and y'all, I'm not a good tax person. I mean, we pay somebody to do our taxes, and we pay them all year long to do, you know, to manage our stuff. And so what we're doing is I'm trying to print down receipts and all that stuff today. And I just told my husband, I said, I got to stop this. I need to go do some sewing because I was starting to get a headache. But of course, for me to get ready to record, it takes a little bit too. I mean, I'm just not able to just sit down and start recording. I need to make sure I have everything I need. You know, like I had to do my hanging sleeves, and I had to do my binding, and I had to cut out or find a backing, because you know, there's not a backing included with this, so you have to find a backing. And what I did, I just used the rest of the fabric that I used for the envelope top. But I did all of that, and then, I just have to read my instructions and stuff and make sure I'm on the right train of thought, and making sure, what fabrics I'm using and everything. And guys, I tell you, I've got to get a lot of projects completed, because I have 2 block of the months that I need to complete, and I think I'm going to have a week of whips. So this may be the first whip y'all see this week, but it's going to be a completed whip. Okay, so there we go. We got that done. So now what I am going to do, now that I've got my stitch line all the way around, I'm stitched all the way around, I will take my 2.5-inch ruler, and what I do to cut, now I've got to get all of this out of my way to make sure I've got space to cut. I have these little things on the back of my ruler that makes it stay where it don't move. And whatever that first line is, that 1/8 line, I guess is what it is. I put that 1/8 line on that stitch line. Let me find that stitch line. I can't see under it sometimes. And so I put that first mark on that stitch line, and it would help if it was straight, but it's not straight. So what I'm going to do, just make it as straight as I can. And cut. Now, of course, I cut right almost on that stitch line there. But if I have to cut the stitch line, sometimes I do cut that stitch line, but I don't try to. I try to stay straight and off the stitch line. Now this side is also, the sides, I don't know why, but the sides were so curvy. So I'm going to try to even that line up there. Even that line up. Get that even. We're going to try to even it up. So I will cut that stitch line there. That's okay. Okay, so this is what I have left. Yeah, I cut a lot of the stitch line right there. I throw all that away. I keep this. That goes in my scraps to see if I could cut it into something I can use. And I'm sure I can. These long strips can be used on string quilts. These little short, chunkier pieces can be used on a potato chip quilt. So that's going in my scrap bin. And now that we have this done, I'm going to start by binding on the back. I think I'm going to start on the bottom because it's just easier. The connectors are up here at the top, which I will need to pin those on. Pretty much going to give myself almost that whole bottom there. And I'm doing this just inside the 3/8 inch. I'm sitting here, I'm having to think, y'all. Let me go on and pin. Now, they're going to go down. I wasn't exactly sure of the length that I needed on these because there was no, I didn't see where it said to cut these. But I did see where it said 1 inch away from the edge. And I know how wide this is, so I'm just pinning these onto the thing. You can't even see it. It matches the fabric, the backing there. But I do like this dark fabric. It's a beautiful fabric. Got my little binding buddy over here, Betty Buddy. Yeah, one day I'm going to remember what that thing is called. I don't know what it's called. But I'm folding this straight up. And then I'm going to fold it straight down. Make sure everything lines up. Get that needle in there. Once again, I'm just on the inside of that 3/8 inch mark. Now, I've never done a binding this small, so I don't know what that 3/8 inch is going to do, but we will see. We shall see. And guys, now that I have my design wall behind me, it's actually light enough. I can move it over here to the side out of the way. We can have a little outside light come in, but right now it's dark. There is no outside light. But I did look out this window today, and I was like, my goodness, I've got to get out there and trim my rose bushes down. But it's 70 degrees right now. Sorry about that. I had to get a little drink. But what I was saying earlier, some of y'all are probably getting ready for the game. My husband is not a football watcher. He doesn't even know who's playing this year. Now, I grew up in a huge sports family. Like, my dad loves football. Now, he likes LSU football because that's where he went to college. And my stepdad liked football. And growing up, I watched a lot of football. And then my children's dad, oh, y'all, my goodness. It was on like Donkey Kong. Every year we had fantasy football league. My husband at the time, my children's dad, he headed it up. And I mean, they played for a trophy. But we had a fantasy football league, and they had their drafts. They did their drafts. They did their picks. They predicted spreads and all that. It was something else. And he ruined me on football because he would watch the same football game like 3 or 4 times. I just literally got to where I hated it. But now, I'll every now and then I'll watch a game. But if I miss a game, it's not the end of the world. I guess we like the game because we like to have people, well, I haven't done it in years. I haven't hosted a Super Bowl party in years. I think the last one we had, it wasn't even a planned party. What it was one of my daughter's friends. I guess her dad really isn't into football, and she liked football, and she knew we were going to be watching the game, and she come over, and something had happened to my TV, and you couldn't hear it real good. I went and bought a surround sound system for it that day because we knew something was going on with the sound. You just couldn't hear real good on it. And And it was one of my daughter's friends. I mean, and think about it, this was like my 14, 16-year-old daughter, maybe. Maybe. I don't even know how old she was. But, my goodness, we had a good time. We made, of course, football game snacks. You always got to have football game snacks. But we had football game snacks, and we just had a good time. It was just us girls. You know, sometimes now I think about that, and I'm like, man, we had so much fun just goofing around with the kids. Y'all, I'm hoping my air conditioner kicks on real quick. And I know, y'all, that some places are just trying to stay warm. And here I am. I need some AC. It's getting warm in here. But I do have 2 lights right here now. I have an extra light. I don't know if it helps or not. I see a lot of shadows behind me. So I don't know how much it helps. We're about to find the truth of this thing here, because about the size of the binding, because I'm almost done on the back. But I've had a very busy weekend. I mean, just trying to catch up from where I was completely down. I mean, y'all, even when I had the bronchitis and I was down, I wasn't down that long. What we are going to do, I'm going to just do a straight cut. I'm not going to do the diagonal. No reason to be frilly and pretty on this. This is going to be on the bottom. So what I'm going to do is find where they overlap. And I will use my little marking ruler. I don't know if y'all can see it. But how I will do this is I will lay the 2 pieces across, and I will find where the center is. Make sure I'm on the edge there. I will mark on both sides of my marking ruler. And the top piece, I will cut just a little on the outside of that. And on the bottom piece, now remember, all my markings are on the top. My bottom piece, I'll slide my scissors under there. Make sure that's, yeah. So what I did, I cut it just a little bit to the outside as well. So now what I am going to do is just pull these 2 together and sew them together. I have to lay it all the way down and fold it over and see if I can get these to match up. There we go. Now, I will sew this at 1/4 of an inch. And I will sew it at a full 1/4 of an inch. Okay, I am going to press this open, and I am going to use my iron. I'm going to press it open just because I have found that it does better when I do that. And then I'm going to fold my bind back in half, and I'm going to press it again. Now it looks a little loose, but as soon as I put it under that needle and stretch it back out, it'll be fine. So we're still at that 3/8. I'm cutting it too big, what I'm doing right here, and I'm noticing that I've got to quit giving it that little extra. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is flip this over. We're going to flip the binding and just bind it down. This seems to be going fairly fast. I'm going to have a teensy little binding there. Boy, this is going to be some working, isn't it? Got to get that thread. Okay, I've got a thread caught here. There we go. So I'm actually starting at the bottom, and I am looping that over. Let's see. That it's going to be tight. I probably should have done it a little under. It looks like it's going to be at 1/4 of an inch. Let me get that needle on down in there. Now I sewed that at 3/8 of an inch, so now I'm sewing this at 1/4 of an inch. And guys, I'm going to go ahead and try to get this corner. I'm going to trim my corner out. I have seen where people say don't do that, but since my binding is not as wide as I wanted it to be, that's how I'm going to do it. But let's just go on and get this going here. Let's get the binding going. Yeah, I don't think I will ever intentionally do a binding this small ever again. This is so hard to grab and get folded over. I guess it's a good thing this thing is going to be on my mantle, because that way nobody's going to be able to see it real good. Yeah, we won't ever do another bind this small. I actually should trim down some of this again. Okay, so now we are on the end with our hanging sleeves, and I'm trying to get that corner right there to miter up. And all I try to do is just get the needle into that fabric there so I can turn. Now I actually clipped the end, this end. I clipped that just a little bit thinner because I knew I had a little bit more fabric to fold over, and I didn't want that to be a problem. Okay, now we are on our last corner here. If I can get it to go straight. Okay, so now I have the binding all the way around. It don't look that pretty on the bottom part of it. Going to do some trimming up here. I think at a distance, nobody will be able to tell a difference. I am just going to put some stitches in here just to hold it in place. I don't know if I'm going to be doing all of the hearts, because it's really not going to matter how many I put on here or how we put them on, just as long as they're on. And I'm getting a notice that my bobbin is almost out. I think I'm only going to put 4 hearts on here, or the 5 hearts that I have. I think this is enough. I don't think I need the rest of them. But let's see. Let me show you what it looks like. This is what it looks like. I think that's pretty cute. So guys, thank you so much for joining me today. Before you scroll out of here, make sure to give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you have not yet. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think. I do try to respond to each and every comment personally. And as always, until I see you again, I hope you have a very blessed day. Bye, guys.